Pilot Sport 4S. I've had multiple friends on Instagram ask me to kind of make a video in terms of what I feel about the tire. I've harped many a time to other Camaro owners who always complain about the stock or OEM Goodyears, whether it's the 1LE or the standard ZL1. They're always talking about, it's mostly the standard ZL1 guys, but they're always talking about how the tires are garbage and ooh, they don't hold and this and that. Realistically, you guys, these are people who live in areas that have, you know, seasons, so they're going to be cooler, you know, a lot of the time of the year. So the tires are not going to grip. And the reason that is, this is something that I think a lot of owners will neglect to kind of notice or take note of, is the fact that there are ranges for the tires, you guys. It's not just throw on whatever fits. Okay. Right now, I know the more common use of more common fitment, or most common fitment right now of the tires on the Camaros is a lot of owners going to the what is it, the Continental, I think it's Sport Contact something or other. And then also now the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S. This Michelin is always, right, they have that reputation for being just, you know, it's a more refined tire. They balance up a little bit better. They give a tire warranty guarantee, which is pretty impressive, including Continental. I think they both guarantee their tires for 30,000 miles or 15,000 miles if you can't rotate, meaning you've got a staggered setup. So obviously for most owners who daily drive their cars, you know, that's going to be an enticing kind of tire to go with. I mean, for value, right? So, you know, they're guaranteeing it's going to last. It comes in your fitment, which is pretty damn wide, and then the price is right. Okay. Now, the reason I like the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S is, yes, they are refined. It did lower the amount of road noise in the car. It did reduce some of the higher frequency vibration in the car, especially with the 1LE, which is nice. So it did kind of add maybe a slight layer of refinement, and unlike a lot of the Michelin tires in the past that I've had, especially that I've used on the street and for track use, the sidewalls were soft. Now the PS4S that's not an issue with the tire at all. I feel like they did a great job. You can tell the carcass is nice and firm. It doesn't flex at all. So the sidewall is nice. You get good steering response, nice and crisp. It's still not as sharp as the Goodyear Supercar 3s, of course not as the 3R either, which is an R-Comp tire. It's a racing tire. But back to the original point, you guys, I think a lot of owners are neglecting the fact that there are categories for the tires. There's a summer tire, which is what the Michelin is, as well as the Continental. Then you've got the extreme performance tires, which is where the Goodyear Supercar 3 is. And then you have the R-Comps, or racing compound tires, okay? And that's where the Goodyear Eagle Supercar 3R is. That's the OEM equipment for this, for the 1LE. All right. Now those tires, okay, what separates the different categories of tires is basically how much heat, mainly. We're going to get into the different multiple facets of the differences, but mainly number one is going to be the heat, how much heat the rubber can tolerate. So then you go into these different categories. Now, of course, on top of that, you're going to have the tread design. That's another thing that I'm going to get into in a second, and kind of where I feel like you can tell there's a negative with the Michelin compared to the original equipment. Is the Michelin number one is it's a lower heat range tire. Okay, it's a summer tire, so it's not going to take heat that well. That's why I would never recommend this for track use. But on the street, my issue with it is I find that it definitely cannot put the power down that the 1LE, or, you know, I would assume the standard Camaro, because it's got the same motor, it's about the same weight, and it's got less downforce and narrower tires. So I would assume you have less grip as well. Remember, I'm running a 305 325, whereas the standard ZL1 is running it's 285 305 setup, so less rear grip as it is. So my issue is, you guys, I'm getting on the freeway and I'm playing with the car. I'm actually going on an uphill on ramp, and I mean, I give it the beans, full on, you know, all the way, wide open throttle. I'm doing 96 miles an hour, and the traction control light is spinning, or excuse me, the rear tires are spinning, traction control light is being triggered. Now again, it didn't disturb the car, it didn't even cut power, but when you see yourself yourself moving at that kind of speed and you see your traction control light indicating that there's slippage, that's a little disconcerting, especially when the tires are brand new. That doesn't make me feel very good. So I know these things now are the standard tires on the M5s and, you know, the M6s and the, you know, all the high-end Mustangs and the high-end Benzes. I mean, the PS4S is it. It still doesn't mean it's the best tire for your car. And this is what I need to get into, is these cars have, you know, traction control management systems that are set up and designed by the engineers for the original equipment. So when you put on a tire like that, like that's two levels down, okay, you're going from an R comp to an extreme performance into a summer tire, you're not gonna get the grip that you want, at least not off the line, or even when you're moving, which is a little bit surprising. I can't complain too much about the hard cornering. I feel like the sidewalls are still pretty stiff. You can almost feel like the tread blocks, because they're smaller, and that's another issue is the tread design. The tread blocks on the PS4S as well as the Continentals are going to be much smaller. They're designed with, you know, smaller blocks on the shoulder. So it's not going to take that outboard, you know, weight and that stress of those hard turns as much, as well as the fact too, I feel like you're going to burn them up if you do try and use them on track, because the weight of the car will not be supported by those little tread blocks. You can tell they were focusing on wet grip and dry grip in the design, but there is always a compromise. When you go with an extreme performance, you know, there is going to be a compromise in terms of your wet grip, but, and I'm just speaking for myself, you guys, I live in Arizona, so I don't give a damn about wet grip. It's inconsequential. I mean, we do get our monsoons, but then, I mean, it's like biblical rain, so everybody and their mom slows down. I don't give a damn if you're in an off-road truck or you're in a race car, you're gonna slow the hell down quite a bit. So for me in Arizona, I would imagine Nevada, California, I just feel like the added refinement is appreciated in the PS4S, but the loss of ultimate grip is, even in a straight line, even when moving, I feel like for me personally is a deal breaker. And that's why I can't recommend the PS4S, and that's why, even though I'm enjoying the cushy ride and I'm doing a little bit more commuting with my ZL11LE, I definitely will not be replacing these with the Michelins again. Now, a lot of people will say, well, you can always step up to the Cup 2s. You know, they're, you know, $2,200 a set or something like that. I'd rather go with the Good Years, $1,700, you know, $1,800 a set, which is still quite a bit of money, but you're going to get that ultimate grip, and it gives you a better compromise in terms of that daily streetability with grip on the street, especially while wide open throttle in your 650 horsepower car. And then you also have the ability to drive in the rain. You know what I mean? Just don't drive them when they're bald. I mean, it's like anything else. Leave my hair out of it, bro. Okay. But anyways, like I said, it's a great tire. And I know it's a great tire. It's going to be a great tire for probably 97% of the cars on the street. Probably better than anything you can put on your car. But for this platform, with this amount of power, with the amount of torque that this car can put out, which is insane, the tires can't handle it. So I would not recommend the PS4S for other Camaro ZL1 owners. If you have a standard SS or an SS1LE, or if you've got a Mustang, you've got a Beamer, you've got a Benz, you've got an Acura, you've got anything, put the PS4S on your car. They're amazing tires. Like I said, the overall balance and the grip, it's amazing. But for a car of this power and this torque, when you go full beans, no, it can't. And I can only imagine, I mean, literally, guys, I don't even have 1,000 miles on these tires, and I'm lighting up the traction control light at 96 miles an hour on an uphill inclined on-ramp. So that's a little scary. So I'm always wondering the hell's going to happen when they're like 10,000 miles or 5 or 8,000 miles on them. So anyways, at this point, I'm kind of looking forward to just burning them up and getting rid of them, to be honest. You live, you learn, but I'm just kind of giving you guys a heads up too, so you know, maybe you guys can make a better choice when you're shopping for tires, especially if you do want one tire that will do it all. Not everybody wants to put you know, aftermarket wheels and tires on their car for street use, and then, you know, have a separate set for the track. The Supercar 3, the non-3R, the Supercar Good Year Eagle Supercar 3 is, in my opinion, the best all-around tire you can put on a Camaro ZL1, period. And that's for the track and for the guys who want a daily and track, period. Now, if you're only a track guy and you're hardcore and you got that those deep pockets, you cannot beat the 3R. The Supercar 3R is it's like bubble gum, bro, on the wheels. Okay, bubble gum tires. Even right now, as I'm coming off this rounded on ramp, I can feel it doesn't feel like it's the sidewall. It feels like it's the tread. Another advantage and disadvantage of the 4S as well, you guys, is you're going to get more tread. Number one, the tires tend to be they tend to run a little bit wider than the standard, the competitors, let's say. The other thing is, when you compare it to the 3s or the 3Rs, the 3s come with, I think, I want to say 5 30-seconds of tread, and you're supposed to replace them at, I think at 2 30-seconds. The Supercar 3s, they come with 7 30-seconds. The Michelin come with 9.5 30-seconds of tread. So you're actually getting more tire for your money. And that's another thing, and I know this is splitting hairs, man, but hey, this is what people do sometimes when they look at their tires. When you look at the car physically, I don't like the way the Michelins look on them. I think they look like shit on the car. And people say, well, what do you mean, right? It's just a tire or whatever. No, I don't like the way the tread blocks are really, really small. The added depth of the tread makes the tire look kind of like meaty and not high performance. I mean, maybe you're speaking to a guy who's had a ZL1 and a 1LE since 2017, so maybe I'm splitting hairs, man, but I don't like the fatness of the tire. And I don't like the way the tread blocks, like the sipes on the lines, instead of being really narrow, they're very, very wide. Excuse me, they're narrow instead of being very, very wide. I don't like the way that looks. So, I don't know, just splitting hairs, basically. Other than that, you guys, I mean, that's pretty much, that's my 2 cents on the Michelin PS4S. Great tire. Like I said, I just think it needs to be, you just need to remember it's going to be balanced more for wet and dry grip, not ultimate grip. Okay, it is going to be a more refined tire on the street, and you're obviously going to get more wear since you're getting about 18% more tread depth, right? And I think that's another great quality of the tire, as well as, and this is unique in my experience. I mean, who the hell gives you a warranty on tires, man? I mean, that's insane. 15,000 miles if you have a staggered setup, 30,000 mile warranty if you have a square setup on your car. So pretty impressive, But like I said, at the limit, you can feel the compromise. So with me, I'm more of a performance guy. I'm driving an extreme performance car. The tire needs an extreme performance tire. All right, that's my 2 cents on the Michelin PS4S. You guys, hope you guys are doing well. I'll catch you guys on the next video. You take care.